Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
There's our cue card.
There you go.
Thank you,
Yes.
Gerald. Hi, I'm Teri at Holding Your Space, and this is Gerald at Tarot Stash.
Hi.
And we are simulcasting today. So you get a chance to see us twice if you're lucky and have two
Yes.
screens.
You have a chance to like twice.
And subscribe. Yeah,
Right.
ditto.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
So,
So let's say hi to a few people. Jeff is here. Tarot ass backwards. Jeff
Jeff.
is going to be on the channel soon. Chesree.
Ooh.
Maruda. Hey, beautiful Maruda. Annie Bear, Seven Feather. Annie Bear has a great new poem and piece of
Ooh.
artwork on her channel this morning.
Nice.
Lori Hunsinger. Brilliant.
Lori.
Sonia. Hi, honey. Jessica Lynn. Julie learning to listen.
Ooh,
Yay, she made it
Julie.
live.
Yay.
The Tarot Magician. I love your picture, Tarot Magician.
That's Renee.
Oh, beautiful. And Book Bewitched.
Hi, Book.
Oh, Lady Silver 1111.
Hey,
Hi,
Sil.
honey. How are you? And Diana's here, oil painter.
Ooh, Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Oh,
I've been
my
told
God.
that I am supposed to call her Wonder Woman. So every time I see her, it's like,
Right?
I just hope she doesn't actually expect me to like twirl around during a live and change my outfit because
Yeah. Right.
I mean that as a kid back when Wonder Woman came on, that was fascinating to me.
That she could do that.
She could do that. It was great. It was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, Batman was pretty quick.
Yes, Batman was pretty quick. Yes. But
And
come on,
Superman.
Wonder Woman had better music for spinning around, and it's like, I mean, you have a flash of light, and it's like, dang, and look at her hair; it's like freaking perfect.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what about that $6 million man? And then
Six,
the six
and
oh,
then the Bionic Woman, yes,
yes, and their hair flowing when they ran, and I loved how they did that fast move, and it was kind of in slow motion.
yes, it was. The things that we remember from the '70s. It's like I had the $6 million board game, $60 million man board game.
Oh, was it like Monopoly or was it?
It was. I don't remember much about it because nobody would play it with me.
Oh, honey, I'm sorry.
So
Yeah.
it's like okay, but that's all right.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
So
Okay, Tarot Magician. Hello. And Annie Bear. Let me see. New comments here. Jezree, Laura, Bondurant. Ooh, what a beautiful name. Donna Riedler,
hey, Donna.
Lisa, and Stacy May. Catitude. I love
Ooh,
that.
Stacy.
Yeah, beautiful.
And
Yeah, I had
Jane is here. Jane is here, and I'm with Jane tomorrow morning because it's Tuesdays with Tarot Stash, exclusively on Jane the Secret Tarot. I have to say it like that. Exclusively on Jane the Secret Tarot.
exclusively.
That's right.
I love
I love
exclusively.
it as she leans into the microphone. Exclusively.
I can see her doing it. Speaking of which,
Wonderful.
Jane is looking really good. I know sometimes she's not feeling well, but you look beautiful, Jane.
Mm-hmm.
Donna Riedler, Hershey's here. Yay.
Hello.
I'm going to be on Jane's channel on Thursday.
And Hershey's going to be on my channel on Tuesday. We're talking about root work.
That's so important. So
Yep.
important right now with all this energy coming in. I love that.
Yes, very much so.
Love that. So, yeah, so fancy, right? Anna Bear.
Well,
So,
and I think it's one of those things, Teri. Let's just remind everybody the importance of subscribing and checking your subscriptions and your notifications because I've seen people are like on everybody I was subscribed to, I'm not subscribed to anymore. So I think they went through, they went through and did some stuff. So just verify that you're subscribed while you're there, ring the bell to get notified. So
Yeah,
it does help us.
right. Yeah, them
They,
there,
they,
the YouTube.
yes. Oh, look, they.
You just had an orb. Oh, that's what it was. It was graffiti. How did you do that?
I'm magic. I mean, come
Well,
on. Everybody knows. Everybody give us a thumbs up, right?
yeah.
You know. And if we have 2 thumbs up,
Oh my God, no, you didn't. What about 3 thumbs up?
well, if I do this,
Yeah. Oh, oh no.
and what is that? I think that's just there you
Peace
go.
sign.
Balloons.
Whoa, you're kidding. Okay. Fireworks Donna's asking about.
Fireworks? Why? Well, here, let me see what I can do for you. Fireworks, because you
Since
know,
you mentioned it.
and I actually really like this one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, mine doesn't work. Oh, is that on StreamYard? Canva.
No, it's magic, everybody. Oh, see, and I worked my fan, so boom.
I'm loving it. I thought you had orbs. Nez has a question. Okay.
Okay.
What was that metallic rainbow sequins flavor energy that happened during my PTSD journey? Oh, okay. From
Mm,
the psychedelic states. I love that question, Ness. So today we are really doing um, historical figures. And today we're doing John Lennon.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And who had a really hard life. He had a lot of tough stuff going down.
yes,
Man,
yes. I
bless him.
mean, yes, and okay. So John Lennon, everybody, if you've never heard of John Lennon, he was born on October 9th of 1940. And so what was interesting is as I was reading a website, and his father was often away. Do you want me to stop? Because am
No,
I
I
going?
want you to go. You're so
So
good
his
at this.
father was often away, and then um, because he was in he was in some sort of service. And one of the things that happened is his father, he was absent without leave 4 years after that John was born, and so Lennon's father basically visited her and took his son secretly and intended to immigrate into New Zealand with him. And his mom, Julia, followed, and basically his father said, "You have to pick between your mother or me." And I mean, it's just so sad because he would grab onto his father. Of course, he hasn't seen him for a long time, and he grabs onto him. And every time they would walk away, he would cry and scream to his mother. So it's like, oh my God. I mean, that trauma as a young child, it's crazy.
I can't
Crazy.
imagine.
I can't either. It's like, it's awful.
And can you imagine John Lennon living in New Zealand? I mean, I'm sure he would have been, this was his life path to
Yeah.
become this famous musician and change all these lives. But what a difference that would have made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. So, and I mean, he just had his birthday, which was, last week. And I know some, people they're talking about him. But yeah, it's just I read that and I'm like, holy crap, as a child having to pick, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It is at that age to go through that trauma. Um, so talk about healing the inner child, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then his mom died when he was what, 18.
Yeah.
So he meets Paul McCartney in 1957,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been in other bands, and they start this band. And then at 18, just when he's ready to go kind of big, um, his mom is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cruel, Donna, right? And I know because my kids lost their dad, my husband, when one was 18 and the other was 15 and or 16. And it's just like you think that you're young adults almost, but that's such a formative time in your life, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's so much to learn and there's so much to rebel against. And if you can't rebel against somebody that's not here. So anyway,
Well, you can try, but it's just really, it makes it even more challenging for you.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Lord knows we did.
yeah.
So, do you want to go on? I mean, you're so good at this, giving the formative things, but I'm happy to.
Well, go ahead because I have a whole bunch of because one of the things that I like to do in considering, when we do readings from beyond and historical mediumship,
Yeah,
it's like what is the legacy these people leave? And so, I have a I did some searching online, and so there's like words of wisdom, and a lot of them are his quotes. So, it's just like going, oh my gosh. Um,
I love that. I
so
love
it's
that.
it's it's like one of them is and of course this is the lyric. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one.
He was so metaphysical. So the whole band was at
Yes.
that point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They had been to see the Maharishi in
Hmm.
India and in the United States as well, who started transcendental meditation.
Yes.
And, you know, just really gotten into meditating and yoga and really made it cool for the Western world, really kind of introduced it in a way to this whole new generation of people that you could be spiritual and it was totally cool.
Yes, and for people who were not spiritual, they got introduced to it by that, and so they made it. Could it be a form of rebellion? Sure, why not? Anytime you do something different than what your community does, that's a form of rebellion. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're getting a lot of chatter here. Um, about, they did a lot of LSD, right? It's
They,
psychedelics.
mhm.
And I don't know if the acid was illegal then or not. I think it probably
Of
was,
course it
but
was. Yes, yes,
peyote and, mescaline and, kind of the beginning of the psychedelic era,
yes.
obviously. And yeah, Marilla says that George and John were more spiritually ahead than the others.
That's true.
They did go quite a bit more into it, I think. Yeah, I think you're
Yes.
right. Um, he also had a lot of, sometimes we're born into these lives and we just can't get this vibe on Earth. And I'm
Mhm.
kind of getting that from his energy, and that he did do a lot of self-medicating because
I
of
would
that.
imagine yes.
Yeah, yeah. So he had a lot of trouble with liquor and drugs and self-induced, problems with that.
Uh huh.
Let's see what else. Oh, he got married pretty young to his
Hmm.
first wife, Julian's mom.
Yes.
And when they got a divorce, he was hitting it high. And Yoko had come up in at that point and caused a rift between the two of them. And she got $100,000 for her divorce. And then I think he put a trust together for $100,000 for Julian and to share with any other offspring that he would have.
Uh-huh.
And that was it. That's what Julian had for a long time. I mean, that's skipping
Yes.
ahead. I thought that was quite interesting that Yoko received like 160 million, and part of that was Sean's, and then Julian did after a time get more money, but I feel like he wasn't really thinking ahead, obviously.
Yeah.
Anyway, they went through, the Beatlemania and everything, and it was really hard. Everybody was blaming Yoko for the breakup, but I think it was already kind of the handwriting on the wall.
That's what I heard as well. That yes, that's what I heard as well.
Yeah, he and Paul were kind of at odds and very, very competitive, which
Oh,
was
sure.
one of their strengths, right? Sure.
It's like the temperance card. When you take things, it's when you put things together in the right um, arrangements, you get some true magic that happens. So absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then it was tragic when he passed. Well, the Beatles broke up,
hmm
and he and Yoko were doing a lot of arts, and he had trained as an artist.
yes,
John had, so that
hmm
was great, and they were doing some very esoteric things that weren't always well received.
correct, and are
But
still not well received.
yeah, and I remember his artwork now. Right? Do you remember his artwork? It would be like a line with a squiggle.
That makes sense, but um,
Yeah,
I just remember things like with Yoko, the band was playing, and then she was blindfolded and crocheting in the back, and it's like, okay,
yeah, yeah, and he
that's
did have. Right, and she did set him up with Mary, there was, like, an interlude there where they called it the Lost Weekend, but it was, like, 18 months or something,
hmm,
and he was involved with this Mary Quant or Mary Pont? I can't remember her last name, but they said that he was really self-induced on drugs at that point, but then I read another article that was more from her point of view, and she said that he was really cleaning up. And then he went to see Yoko about something and all of a sudden was totally drugged out. So you
yeah,
just don't know, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, and then of course tragically died in 1980. And from this young man who was deluded, Mary Quant. Thank you, Mary Quant. That's right, Diana.
hmm
She owned a boutique. Yeah, she was really famous. And everybody's saying Yoko was no good for him. Yeah, that's kind of what I feel. And that Mary could have maybe set him on the right path. Yeah, not his year, right?
yeah,
And he had given an autograph to this young man
hmm
that killed him. So just so sad.
yeah,
Earlier in the day, and then when he got out of his limousine, uh, was killed. So that was horrible. Mark David Chapman.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I left out a lot of stuff, but that's a brief thing
But
on it.
yeah. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to do someone's tarot numerology,
Mm.
add up their birthday, and what does it relate to the tarot. And he was a 6, so he was a lovers. And if you're thinking about lovers like partnerships. They like things to work well together. Oftentimes there are choices that are involved, choosing one thing over another. And I find that interesting with the relationship with this Mary and then Yoko. So it's a curiosity of, especially because, like, when you think of the Beatles, and a lot of us have heard things about their creativity and how they worked. Um, doesn't that give you it gives an idea of some of that? It gives me an idea of that creative balance, the give and take in a lover's card, and then that unexpected thing show up to where, you know, these guys were in a studio doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, and they were creating new sounds, and it was incredible. So
Yeah.
so
It was really incredible. So, do you feel like, he and Ono or Yoko Yoko Ono were twin flames? Like, sometimes twin flames can, recite everything for each other, and work together, but they're just combustionable because once they get together, it's just like, boom.
I don't know if they were twin flames. I just know that uh he was so in love with Yoko. He did some of his best work with Yoko, yes, and it was his own. It wasn't tempered by the other three. It wasn't tempered by Ringo, George, and Paul, because
Yeah,
sometimes you need to have that. But the idea of is all things come to an end. You don't hate each other. You just are doing different things. So
right. Yeah.
um,
He really did hold on to something with Paul, didn't he? Yeah,
yes,
Rossi was a
yes,
kid when he was killed and remembers it being such a shock in New York City.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you had asked me that idea of is were they twin flames or whatever. I don't know if they were twin flames, but they certainly had a very dynamic relationship. I should run her numbers to see what her when her birthday is.
Oh, that's good.
So
Mary Thornberry says, "All you need is love. First worldwide satellite broadcast of history." Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
And he and Paul did try to come back together and do an Apple Records. And it was gonna be it's interesting because it was going to also involve electronics and
oh,
machines.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and they had a running feud with, Apple because Apple took their logo,
Uh-huh.
and, it's something about a copyright, anyway, for a long time, but they finally worked it out. Yeah, between that and also oh, let me see what okay, Donna, I already said that or already read that. Yeah, it was quite unusual, everything that they did, and then their honeymoon, Yoko and John, they spent 10 days in a bed in Amsterdam at the Hilton.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was quite interesting for peace.
Yes. And Sharon, I agree with you. Yoko was his muse for sure. Of course, yes.
Yeah.
And okay, thank you. I'm gonna write what Rossi said. Okay. So
Oh, thanks, Rossi. 1933. Man.
hmm, and very interesting. So she was an 1809, so she is a moon hermit to where she compartmentalizes everything. Very mysterious. Um, and it also means that together with the 6 and the 9, they are a 15. So they are a devil lovers, to which means so there are 15, they're a devil lovers, which means that could be very dynamic. making the other see things that they wouldn't necessarily see. It could also be very manipulative. And
Yeah.
so I think they're depending upon how it was,
Yeah.
how they interacted. So
Yeah. Sharon agrees. She said she was his addiction too.
yeah,
Yeah. Big part of that, right?
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, Ness
Well,
has her chart, but but okay. So some of the things that and somebody mentioned earlier, it's just like when a lot of the guys they did their own things. Like Morella said, George did the Traveling Wilburys, and Paul
yeah.
did Wings, and George had his own career as well. And everybody knows George is my favorite Beatle. I'm just saying. So I no, everybody knows it now, or I should say, the people who are watching this know it.
Yeah.
And because he and Jane saw him live when George, when she was like 13 or something like that. That seems
Wow.
um, but it's the idea of is each of them took the little gems from that experience and they made it their own. And so I mean, and think about it. It's just like on all we are saying is give peace a chance. And think about that. If we today were doing more of that, I mean, yeah. And Jane, Teri, you were actually saying, you don't think he wants to come back.
No, I don't. I went into his energy and we were kind of starting to talk about that. Sometimes if you come from a very high energy, which we all do, it's hard when you get to this planet and not everybody can handle it. Being in the 3D, three-dimensional.
Mhm.
And so consequently, we have a lot of people that self-medicate on the
Yes.
planet in
Yes.
different ways. And that was his deal. It was like his head was always out here. And
Mhm.
and there was so much pain involved in this lifetime um, to start with, but also just that he was already always in that imagination, always with that cloud
Yes.
out there, working on things a lot like other great artists, Robin Williams and whatnot.
Mhm.
And it was just too hard for him to be here on this planet at this time. I don't think he'd ever want to come back,
Yeah.
you know?
Somebody else was doing some conversations with uh yeah, John. And I think what's really interesting, and in some of the quotes that I saw about him, because yes, they had these drug induced occurrences, and they spent time in India and learning about things. But one of the quotes that John said was, there is no other time but the present. Anything else is a waste of time. And I'm doing some studying of some Soto Zen, and if we can be in the present, that's where a lot of the power, that's where the power is.
Mhm.
So we don't worry about the past, don't worry about the future, and don't be sad about the past. It's like, oh my gosh. So
Yeah. Astrology tarot. We love talking about John Lennon and Yoko Ono's unique relationship in our Jyotish Vedic astrology group. Lennon has a rare planetary yoga in his chart that activated at the time of his death. Whoa, there. Oh, I got quivers on that. Um,
yes.
that's amazing. Really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Linda was quite grounding for Paul, right? Um,
Yes, I think so. I would agree with you. That makes sense to me.
yeah, yeah. Linda McCartney is your favorite Beatle. Her and Paul's love for each other was so pure. right? And their beautiful family, and that they retreated to the farm. And Ringo, I think, is underrated too, right? You.
Oh, look, here's Bob Ross.
Well,
Ringo has the Ringo is the has embraced his stardom and it uses it for what he could. So,
yeah, yeah.
but
I kind of love that he's been married all these years to a Bond girl, his beautiful wife,
of course,
and they're just, they are who they are, and you don't really hear about him. I mean, I think he's kind of amazing.
yeah.
Um,
Ness, we have the question highlighted. We are going to get to questions.
yeah, we will get to questions.
Um,
Let's see. Okay. We have a question for you. You agree about Linda. I saw that. Okay, I'm dying laughing about that question, Annie Bear.
well,
I
and
will I will highlight it.
and one of the things that I enjoy, in looking at these quotes from John, time you enjoy wasting was not wasted.
Right?
So it's like, and one of the things that and I don't know if this is in his chart somewhere, but there's this idea of is that John believes in everything until it's disproved. And he said, so I believe in fairies, the myths, dragons. It all exists, even if it's in your mind. Who's to say that dreams and nightmares aren't as real as the here and now?
Brilliant.
I mean,
Brilliant. Yeah.
so,
Yeah, because we are creators. We do create our own lives.
mhm, yeah,
So, yeah, if we create Pan and everybody else,
sure.
when we get into that archetypal energy of that level of the brain, or the mind, rather, spirit,
Mhm,
consciousness.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
so
Yeah, so ahead of its time, Marilla, right?
yeah,
So
Annie
ahead
is
of its time.
Annie is trying to, Annie must have said something funny because now I'm like going, um,
Okay, I'll go ahead and go for it. Annie said something funny. She said, I wondered if Terry was ever a groupie in this life or the one before, which is cracking me up, Annie. I love that. I actually had an old boyfriend that was, he worked for MCA Records. So I did get to meet a lot of people through him. Um, and Elton John, Johnny Versace, um,
mhm,
and it was a hoot, but I clammed up. I never said anything. Like, if I'd meet somebody, I'd smile really big and say hi, but I was not a conversationalist.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, Hypnicity, you're a groupie with a camera. So, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and these days you can't get away from that, can you?
yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
It's true.
I don't care what they say. I won't live in a world without love. Oh, I love that.
That's good.
Right? Beautiful.
Hmm. Yeah, Annie knew there was a story.
Yeah, there's a couple more outside that, and we'll talk about that another day. But, oh, Lisa says, "I believe that Jeff Lynne was the 5th Beatle later on with producing them." So, do we wanna get into reading on him?
Sure.
Or,
Yeah, let's do it. I think people are
yeah,
here for some of that, and I appreciate everybody being here. There's so many people watching, and it's great. So
yeah,
it's
really fun.
yeah.
Um, so, if anybody has any questions, let's go ahead.
Mhm.
Or, um, we can kinda go into his energy. Um, so when I go into his energy, um, my head hurts still, and he's saying life is hard, his heart hurt. Um, and he felt like he never had a clear voice. and that's why he was so proficient with writing so much, because people didn't take it the way he wanted them to. It's like he kept talking, but nobody was getting it. Like now we are, right? Imagine. And now it's so clear to everybody what he was saying afterwards. But while he was here on this planet, it's like he had to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it before people would really understand that this was coming from spirit, what he was saying. Very vocal, but not always what he didn't always say what he wanted people to hear. And he was dyslexic, for all of my dyslexic friends out there and ADD friends. And he didn't always say things the way he wanted people to hear it. And he didn't process things the way other people did either. I mean, on so many different levels.
Yeah. Do you want to remove the comment? There are a couple of people who have posted in some questions, and Michelle Marie was talking about that, and then I pulled some cards as we were talking. I'm just going to give a general feel about it, about John. Is it feels, I mean, the Three of Cups reversed, he's somebody who really needed to be around people that he felt connected to. It often changed because something would happen and he wouldn't have that balance, so that the like mind and shared ideas of the community, because the Three of Cups for me is about the community and the people who support you for who you are. It feels like when this shifted, he took it really hard because he had to figure out who he was in relation to the world. I got the Six of Wands reversed. So I imagine that there were some struggles with him feeling successful in his everyday life. Because and when anytime, this is the Wheel of Fortune, anytime something changed, it was an Eight of Swords moment. He got caught up in his head, and he had difficulty getting out of this. And I would wonder what his chart would look like. Is his crown chakra and his heart chakra and the throat chakra, are they connected? Because when one gets out of the way, it's so clear. I mean, those lyrics, come on, people. Truly incredible. I mean, and they're drops of honey from the gods and the goddesses, and they're these little gems, and we still talk about them.
Yeah.
We still, I mean, come on. All you need is love. Yes. It's right. Incredible. So
yeah, unbelievable. I do feel like I do feel like he did have a lot of stoppages, a lot of blocks going on. Yeah, unfinished business, Astrology Tarot says. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and start posting some of these questions. Oh, I've got a few of them posted. Okay.
Oh, the lyrics are our mantra book. That's well said. And again, I think this is for creative people. And I'm just going to say, for creative people, they're often ahead of their times. And it takes time for people to catch up with them. And what he was saying, and he was saying it a lot, and he was singing about it, and he was putting it in our faces, and it was a lot of people didn't hear it, and they're hearing it now. Okay, so I'll stop talking now.
Yeah, no, I love that. Love that. Book Bewitched asks, I'd love to hear what he has to say about our spiritual focus now? That's a great question, Book Bewitched. Thank you. Beautiful picture. Oh my God.
Yeah, truly legends.
Yeah. Yeah, Morella.
And I do want to get to Ness. We are going to get to your question because it's starred. I'm curious about that too myself. Let me hear what he has said about our spiritual focus now. He's one of the things that I hear is this idea of you still don't have it. You still there's so much disconnect in what people say and what they do, and that's hard for people to exist in that. And it interesting. It feels like it feels like it's a blockage. There was some movement while he was around, and that now it's blocked. This is the Six of Swords reversed, where that's the transition and that dealing everyday life things, and now we're not able to do it, and judgment's going to rain down. The option for us to exercise judgment for ourselves is out of our hands, and it's being given to others or to other beings, and that's why some of this stuff is going on. There has to be a balancing. I don't know how that answers the question, but
Wow.
it's like, I mean, some people are doing it, not enough people are.
Yeah. So I'm getting I'm pulling this in, and here is Ganesh, talking about protection and surrounding himself in light, and he's talking about how he wish he would have known more about that because he could have really used that to balance things.
Yes.
And even though he was with the Maharishi, it was different back then, and now we have so many tools that are used. We can call in our angels, our spirit guides. We can call in our crystals, white light, diamond light. There's so many things that we have at our disposal now that he would have loved. Priorities. He did make a big priority out of his second son, Sean, but he brings in so much love for his first son as well, and so happy that things worked out there for him. And also priorities and that just being a clear channel. That would have been to his benefit, and he's happy that so many of us can be a clear channel, because that's the knowing, that's the understanding. And he knew things he wasn't supposed to know back then.
That's yes.
And now it's so much more common, isn't it, for all of us? I mean, we've all found each other here. There's people here that we can come to and say silly things that the other world would think that is silly. So often. Yeah. So great question. Thanks, Book Bewitched. We are no way near understanding it still or making it better. My interpretation, Gerald. Wow.
Yeah, and I think with that, it's that. I think it gives me a sense of I really, really need to make sure my spirituality is an integral part of how I interact with the world.
Yeah.
And make that an expectation, to normalize it. People can be spiritual and yeah. Oh, and Annie's like, when we are here to light it up. Yes. And let's normalize that. Let's normalize the spirituality. and the recognition and the pausing. So
Yeah. Teach it in school,
well,
being present.
being present, teach it at home, make it okay for kids to need a minute to get their brains back, and and adults be role models.
Yeah, we are really concerned about constructs, aren't we, in this lifetime?
Yes.
Like that we have to go to school until senior year and study all these subjects where our brain might be working really well in one or two. Just there's so many things that we could do differently.
Yeah.
And we will. I think AI is going to, I feel like he's really excited about AI, and the AI is going to play a huge part in that learning. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yes. If the parents were taught it and didn't learn it, the kids aren't going to do it either. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Unfinished business. I just checked, and John Lennon died December 8th, the South Path, which indicates an eventual reincarnation to an Earth-like plane. Oh.
Okay.
Well, maybe he comes back, astrological tarot, then after we've already moved on a little bit, huh? A little bit better.
Or maybe he'll help us to go over that hump.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This is a great one. Lee says, from the other side, is he helping today's artists?
Uh-oh.
Annie, he's somewhere tapping his foot.
Waiting for us to catch up. Okay, so my impression, Lisa, is the idea of is he's part of that collective. I'm going to use the term muse that is around to all artists, and so he's able to spin things a little bit, and like the muses often do. And I think he's really getting. I think he's all right. He's really working with poets and writers now. Is how I feel about it, and I would also say he's working not necessarily with artists. I feel like he's working with some of the spiritual, the monks and the nuns and those who are going to be courageous and lead with their actions. So it feels very much it's very much like that. Sometimes he all right, I'll say it. Sometimes he likes to pop in when somebody is doing something on a guitar just to play around a bit. You got that too?
Yeah.
Because he enjoys that. He enjoys that manipulation, that physicality of allowing that sound to generate here.
Yeah.
He has a greater appreciation of it now. So
Yeah, I get that too. I get that he comes in with a lot of musicians, and when they're in the midst of writing, and he feeds it. Like when Florence and the Machine, for some reason, came in, and that
okay.
"Run Fast for Your Mother, Run Fast for Your Father" song, how she stomps and she gets it out there. Yet she's wearing this beautiful white dress. And he's talking about, I'm 18 and I like it. So I know that was after he passed, but in different kinds of genres, not just rock, but also that he's with the collective that you were speaking of, Gerald. I really get that he's with them. And Mozart, Bach, Beethoven. There's this big group there, Prince. And then a lot of scientists there also. So really interesting. And he's talking about generosity of spirit, how that's how we can raise our vibration, obviously, when we're meditating, but also giving thanks for the music around us and all of our achievements, like being generous with ourselves because of our achievements and all that we've done in this lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
And that leading to enlightenment. So he's like, and this just reminds me so much of Prince and Purple Rain, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, and I think that's one thing that creative people do, and I use that term creative in the sense of, oh yeah, the ascended musical masters.
Yeah.
But and creative people have the ability to see things differently than the rest of us. And I'm using that term creative people for musician, artist, doctors, scientists, mathematicians, those people who they can go like this and suddenly they can make it happen. And I love the idea that, who knows, maybe the scientists who worked on on some vaccines are inspired by John Lennon and listening to one of his albums.
Yeah.
That's actually okay. That came through pretty loud. He said the more times people play his and the Beatles music, the more opportunity it is to raise that vibration.
Yeah. They have one song, it's the Gayatri mantra. It's just the mantra over and over that they're singing. I think it was after they went to Nepal. Pamela, that's a good point. Leaving spirituality out of the schools, but they can teach mindfulness.
Yeah.
And that is hand in hand, isn't it?
Well, and one of the quotes that he had is there are two basic motivating forces, fear and love. When we are afraid, we pull back from life. When we are in love, we open to all that life has to offer with passion, excitement, and acceptance. We need to learn to love ourselves first in all our glory and our imperfections. If we can love ourselves, we can fully open to our abilities to love others and our potential to create. Evolution and all hopes for a better world rest in the fearlessness and open-hearted vision of people who embrace life.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get off my soapbox.
Beautiful. No, I love that. I love that.
I'm just every once in a while, he's like, going, read that one.
I love that. Yeah. 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 Math is another thing, right, Lisa? Just like art. It's that energy.
Yep.
And pulling in that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two emotions, love and fear, right? Book Bewitched. Yeah. And when you have fear, you can't be curious.
That's right.
Right? When you bring in curiosity, it pushes out fear. It uses another part of the brain physically. Yep. So not just your energy and your emotions and your spirit, but also your physical brain. So
yeah,
that song opens the heart chakra, the Gayatri mantra, right, Sonia? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love this. Ness says, in Islamic faith, math and science is the existence of God. It is spiritual. Yeah. Yeah. The mosques have so many, well, and I think in Christianity and Judaism too, that there are so many things that we don't know, like the 108, right? That's such a spiritual number.
Yeah.
And that's the numbers on the Maya and the Armala and the Rosary and something in Judaism too. I can't remember what.
Yeah. All right, let's do Nessa's question.
Ness, what is Nessa's question? Do you see it?
Highlighted. You've started.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm being pushy.
No, I love that you did because I was looking for it.
You're John.
Okay. Are you taking open questions at the end? No worries. If not, I am trying to plan my time. Thank you both for hosting this call.
It's
That's
up
not
higher.
it.
It's up
Is it up
higher.
higher?
Yeah. Scroll up.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. I did have it posted. Question. What was the metallic rainbow sequence flavor energy that happened during my PTSD journey? And it's happened during psychedelic states too.
And also said, correction, it has happened during non-psychedelic states too. Non-psychedelic states. Okay. So
Okay.
what is the
Hmm.
I'll go ahead and start because I think you're still, you're still getting your info. Um, okay, Ness, for entertainment purposes only, blah, blah, blah. It really feels like what was that metallic rainbow sequence flavor energy that happened during my PTSD? It feels part of me. Part of some of what it is feeling is to me is there is a disconnect between for you because I have the 7 of coins reversed. It feels like you are trying to rush things that don't need to be rushed. Okay, I'm interesting because Ness, what I'm doing is I'm looking and I'm just feeling it's helping you understand who you are in this environment. This is the Emperor.
Wow. Look
You're
at those colors.
you are looking at you are trying to establish the boundaries. It was something I experienced in my PTSD treatments, not during your triggers. Thank you. So this is what this is this is it's you radiating out going here. This is mine. Um I have a lot of I have the 6 of cups also, which Ness, I'm wondering if do you have a spirit team that you work with, Ness? Because yeah, boundaries is a good way to describe it. It feels like it is part of me and I don't understand it. Okay. It's setting boundaries for you. It's also thinking about your spirit team. This is the 6 of cups. This is the card of fond memories, nostalgia, people who just get you. I have a team of folks that are interdimensional beings. Yes. Um, and then I also have Ness. I have the 3 of Pentacles. Now is the time for you to start to understand. Um, I mean, you work with them. Do you work with them regularly? It's not just guides. Okay. Do you feel safe with when you're with them? Because this 3 of Pentacles suggests some sense of establishment and a safety and a security around that, and kept keeping you in your body because sometimes you can slide outside.
Oh, she's saying this was the first real contact. We had a full conversation. We were equals.
Yes, that makes good sense. And when that
Mhm.
happens, everything else sort of goes, what just happened? So
I love that. Um, do you want me to go?
Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No, it's cool. It's cool. Um, so Ness, I'm getting a childlike expression, and look at her. She's sitting there, or him, Ganesh, Lord Ganesh, them. They're looking at orbs. So they're looking at all this energy with joy and wonder coming in. And I'm feeling like this is your spirit team coming in. Also, there's a lot of elemental energy coming in as far as interdimensional work that you're talking about, life energy. And they're saying, sit back, buckle up. It's going to require some openness. And you were talking about pushing the boundaries, Gerald was.
Mhm.
And sometimes when something happens in our childhood and somebody tells us to be quiet or does something that we don't have the voice or the skills yet to say no to, or say, no, I don't like that. I like that. Um, then that openness is kind of hurt, that childlike expression. But you're working with that energy. Look at that energy as it comes in, because it's a huge amount of energy. And then we get protection again. So, and that's that mist that keeps coming in our meditations. And that mist is like a beautiful light that's coming in for all of us, I get right now, kind of shielding us from the energy that's out there of anxiety, from all the chaos. Because the more we raise our vibration, we can be empathetic to everybody and watch it, but we can stay out of the fray, so to speak, with our energy and that protection. And that's that beautiful, soft serenity that comes in just by watching and being present. The whole thing that we've been talking about in John 2. You can understand the protection piece, Neth? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You got that. All right. Well, that was beautiful. Well, we've got time for one more question. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I love this one, Rossi. Is he jamming with other musicians in spirit?
It feels interesting to me, Teri, because what I immediately heard was no, I'm talking to the scientists. Talking to the scientist and really allowing this. There's a nice sense of translation between the science and the art of creation, and they're having the nice discussion around it. And sometimes they're arguing about it. They're arguing what it means, because he really, part of jamming for him was engaging people and challenging them. And he really liked that. He's really, Teri, he's really enjoying it. It's giving this ability to transform what he is doing and how he can influence, because he's now getting, they're able to talk at a different level, is how I feel. So it really transforms it. So
Wow. That just gave me, that gave me chills, Gerald. That's so beautiful. I feel like you're right. I feel like in my soul, my heart, and the quantum field, and joining the math, joining the astrology, the astrophysics, the quantum field, numbers, arithmetic. Scientists in a previous life, and it's all the same energy, that creative energy, isn't it? But it comes in and it's just like blowing your mind, which is the soul star activation. And look at
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So beautiful energy with that. Fulfilling soul contracts, remembering who you are. And that's something he's working on with this next lifetime that he comes into. Um, stellar gateway activation.
Mm,
So, and look at that portal. So, wow. And that portal has so much light code around it. And light code is all about that working with light, working with vibration, sound. It's all the same thing, isn't it?
frequency, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He's in the league with the ones that were geniuses, right, Marilla? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the Akashic Stargate. So working in the field of Akasha. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, which is a little different than the Akashic field. It's kind of that space around Saint Germain that has that field of kind of nothingness, where all is and nothing is.
Yeah.
So, and mirroring everything in those portals, just beautiful.
Mhm.
Anyway, what are those cards? They are the. There they are. They are the Kyle Gray and the activate the ancient wisdom within.
Oh, okay.
That's the back of the box, but the front of the box will be found the minute we sign off.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's who they are. Yeah, they're beautiful. You're walking the well.
Yeah. Ness, one thing that I also heard for you is that yes, it is overwhelming and you can't gauge your reaction to all of it yet. That's okay. Because what you're doing is you're learning how to balance that energy and to work with it. So cut yourself a break. Some this stuff takes time. If you're playing piano, you start with chopsticks perhaps before you do a symphony.
Yeah, and all of you out there, all of us, allow ourselves a moment to assimilate now and then, a day or two of just easy resting. I mean, last week I had to take a day off and just
Yeah.
abide.
Uh-huh.
So when
And
you have time, abide.
and I think this goes back to something that John Lennon said is you know, um if it, time and what was it? It was time you enjoy wasting was not wasted
Yeah,
because it's being in that moment. And sometimes that can be overwhelming. Just I mean, when I know for me, we talked about this. I talked about this on a couple of shows where for me the energy of the weekend with the new moon and the eclipse, I had to sleep through it. For me, that is I take a nap, and that's how I process all of that energy. I
yeah,
I need to get my brain out of the way for it to resonate with my body. So,
yeah, yeah. It's a lot of work. I think Saturday was the first really full, incredible night's sleep that I've had in a
mhm.
few weeks. That was just, bam, waking up like, whoa, what was that?
Yeah, very much so. Very much.
Yeah. Yeah. We're surrounding you in beautiful hugs, nests, and blankets
Absolutely.
of serenity. Yeah. We do feel guilty taking time for ourselves, don't we, Marilla? So, oh, Annie Bear is getting a reading with JJ tomorrow. Lucky.
Ooh, thank you. I've been very fortunate to have conversations with JJ and Karen about light language, and we're doing a third one on Sunday.
Yeah, I want to watch that. I watched part of the last one. It was incredible.
Yeah,
Just
it was
phenomenal.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, all 3 of you together, amazing.
Aw.
So, you'll never be a narcissist, Ness. You're too big an empath. So, well,
And
everybody have a great day. What are you doing next, Gerald? Do you have 5 more shows today?
no, I only have one more show today, and it is a caffeinated and unfiltered tonight at 7. And then I'm starting my Tuesday off with Jane the Seeker for Tuesdays with Tarot Stash, exclusively on Jane the Seeker Tarot. And then I have a channel rama with medium Betsy Palmer and Deb and Angela tomorrow, and then laugh and learn about root work. And then I'm a guest on Deanne Shieldmaiden Tarot in the evening. So just like and subscribe. It's there.
Nice.
It'll be on the landing page.
That sounds lovely.
And by the way, somebody had asked what my cards were. They are the Spectro Whirl Tarot.
They are so beautiful. Yeah. I'm gonna put those on my list because they're stunning.
They're available on through. So here you go. Know your limits. Purchase responsibly. SpectroWhirl.com. Tell him Gerald sang it.
I love
That'll
it.
get you nothing. So. Wow, book.
Yeah. Oh, book Bewitched. You cried through Saturday and slept for 13 hours. Not normal. Me too, honey. Me too. Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll have a lovely night, and we will see you all, I hope, soon.
Yes.
So, namaste.
Take care.
Our light sees your light.